Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today or coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, You Best Believe It. I ain't telling you no lies. NERDSoul on screen and a little bit of specials. We're going to get into some fun stuff today. Big shout out to Ray Comics. You see the comics around us. And also big shout out to all the Patreon supporters, all the Cash Appers, the Super Chatters. Thank you so much. I know I missed y'all on the gaming video, but I got y'all today. So big shout out to y'all. Thank you for rolling through and showing your support. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget, if you ain't even got a dime, hit that thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Share this to your mama and all your brethren. All right? All right? Don't be sleeping. Don't hide that nerd soul to yourself. But with that said, right over here, we are joined by the cinematic sorcerer. This is a guy who was requested for the Loki reviews that will be going on Sunday coming up. I present to you guys Solar Grey. What's up?
Hey everybody, how's it going out there? I'm Solar Grey, the cinematic sorcerer, and I'm coming at you from the under construction Wizard's Tower in his Royal Badnesses section. Just wanting to say what's up and thank you for calling me in on this, man. For people that are watching that know me and do the whole thing, this is my very first this is my first time back on the internet since the tragedy in my family hit. So, you know, I'm glad it's with you. I was going to be calling you up saying, hey, I'm going live. Could you co-host for me? I don't know if I still got it. I don't know. It's all rusty.
It honestly is kind of a muscle. It's like if you don't do it for a while, you kind of forget things.
Well, it's like every single skill, you know.
Yeah. Big shout out to Muhammad in the house. No, I have not watched Superman and Lois. I can't guarantee if I will.
Check it out. After the third episode, it's fire.
Because, like I said, I've been slowly divesting from CW. So I know people are saying Superman and Lois is cool and Stargirl is cool, but I just technically Stargirl wasn't a CW property. So that's probably why it's good. See, remember, Stargirl was a DC Universe / HBO Max property that kind of got funneled into CW. So that's probably why it's better.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel tooken because I had both streaming services, and now one's a comic service, and all the streaming service is over there. But it's okay; they haven't canceled Doom Patrol, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad. So,
Muhammad agrees, saying it's very good after episode 3. So, all right, check this. Yeah. Today we're getting into Sandman. That's right, some more supernatural fire.
From the mind of Neil Gaiman.
Yes, the guy who I was introduced to his work from a documentary that Patrick Meany did that I was covering. And I saw the documentary before knowing any of his work. And I was like, yo, this guy is killing it.
Was that the H.P. Lovecraft one?
No, I don't think so. All I know is Patrick Meany did a documentary on Neil Gaiman, and after watching that and then interviewing him on his experience following Neil Gaiman and all that stuff, I was like, hey, I think I like a lot of his work. I'm into supernatural action, supernatural horror. I'm there. Then I saw American Gods,
Okay.
which we know, we know how that went.
That's another show.
That's a whole
That's
other.
another show in and of itself.
So we
You
know
know,
how
but
we know how that went.
well, yeah, but we're
And
talking the same author that brought you things like Stardust, Coraline,
mhm.
Neverwhere. You know, I've been on the Gaiman train since '96.
See, I knew nothing about him, so like I'm behind. So
God,
I'm like American Gods, cool, and I kind of get like the vibe of like the stuff he writes. Then, and this is after kind of meeting the person through the documentary, then finding out on the back end that Lucifer was his. So I was like,
sorta,
oh, okay,
sorta.
okay, sort of. All
He
right. So
introduced the
whoever the
character.
other creator is,
Yeah,
no diss to you, apologies.
no,
So
that's Mike Carey.
okay, okay.
Who took the character. Neil actually introduced Lucifer in the
Ah.
Sandman books. And
Ah. So he
DC,
created the character, but
yes.
all right, understood, understood. So
And
kind
yeah,
of
funny
like
because Carey
most
got
comic book
approached by
things of that
DC.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Carey got approached by DC, and Carey called up Neil, and he's like, "They want me to do a book for Vertigo, and I don't know what to write." And Game was like, "Lucifer, write the Lucifer book. I don't want to do it. You're good enough to do it. Write the book."
Like,
So,
I don't want to do it. You can do it.
and of course, he really hit the scene in America with Good Omens when he wrote that with Terry Pratchett.
Yeah,
So, you know,
which is over on Amazon.
yeah, the novel came out, I think, like in 97, 98. So, you know, he's a prolific creator, really prolific creator. He
Yeah.
writes a bunch of but
But
um,
he also
I
wrote
like
something
the
called
man.
Sandman.
Now, I like the man. It's kind of tied into what we're gonna be talking about a little today. What he said to his relationship with fans of literature and popular literature as of present has been a little tenuous.
A little,
Just a little, just a
a
little.
little, a little tenuous.
It started with him being in the corner of Mr. George R. Martin. um,
Yo, because we know how he get down.
yeah.
He look like he don't care. He just let the hammer fly.
Yeah, he doesn't because
He was like, brat, brat.
yeah, well, he has made so much money from his work in TV and books. He has a house across the street from his house for his toys. He bought a second house,
That's crazy.
models and all of his comic book memorabilia
That's
and
crazy.
all of his props and stuff like that. So he's like, hey, as long as you're still talking about me, you're going to buy the book if I release it.
Yeah.
I
And
wish I could go like that. I really do.
so I hear the Sandman comes out, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What's the thing? And then once I hear that it's created by, Neil Gaiman, I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm interested. I'm interested. You got me. And I'm like, oh, cool. And like Muhammad says in the chat, Sandman and Lucifer on the same platform. Cool. And Lucifer is a show that I was not interested in at first.
Mm.
Yes, I was not interested at first. Like it took maybe about 5 episodes. Like I watched like 2 episodes and I was just like, nah. No, I watched 1 episode and I was just like, nah, man, I'm not interested in the weird guy helps the cops show anymore. I'm just not in. Whether it's Monk or whether it's whether I can't even think of the guy's name on TNT. Whether any of those dudes. Psych, any of those shows. The weird guy helps the cops, or the weird lady helps the cops. With way back to Murder She Wrote. I'm done with it. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm just done with police procedurals. It's you turn on every channel all the time, and it's this is how the cop breaks the case. This is how the cop. This is how the cop. This is how the cop. I mean, I remember Cop Rock, bro.
Oh no, I never knew Cop Rock existed until the homie John Oliver put a clip up, and I was like, hold up, somebody approved this? I don't want to hear nothing about any of my ideas. Nothing. Like I don't know. They approved Cop Rock. All right.
You know what? This is why I'm always on people to just create. You know, the whole premise of everything I do. I'm like, just put it down. This got made. Roger Corman has property.
Yeah,
You know, I
like
think that the bed that eats. If that can get published,
I mean,
so can you.
Cruella essentially is Cruella begins, all right, with I guess evil Dalmatians just killing people, all right. And
Well, yeah. I mean,
who? How did that fly in the House of Mouse? How did that fly? Someone's like, "Yo, man, what if Dalmatians killed their parents?" And they be like, "Yo, that's dope." But anyway, I don't want to get
yeah,
off.
yeah. That we
So
could be here for hours
you
talking
know,
about
I
that.
turned around on Lucifer, so I'm like, cool, word. So Sandman, I decided not to read anything because I don't want to be one of those people that are like comparing it to the book. So I'm
Okay.
like, cool. I'm one of those people that after the series is done, I'll go back and get the hardcovers and everything.
Okay.
Similar to what I've been doing with like Berserk and everything, or getting ready to do with Berserk, because I saw Berserk on Netflix and I was like, oh, this is cool. And somebody was like, no, there's more. That's like somewhere in the middle of the story. And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? And I'm like, I mean, besides there's a very anime part of Berserk where Japanese people got to do their thing. So
And it,
it comes out of nowhere. Like you're chilling and you're like, oh man, this is a great adventure action. And you're like, hold up, what? But anyway,
this is coming from a man who's never seen record of the Lotus Wars. um,
so
that's a whole other thing.
speaking of Sandman, if you could, before we get into this controversy,
Yes.
uh, explain really quickly what Sandman is about. Since you've read it, you got the schematics.
All right. So I'm gonna do this with as few spoilers as possible, and as quick as possible because there's no real quick explanation of Sandman. In a nutshell, there are 7 siblings that are called the Endless. They are beyond. Okay, they exist
Okay.
in the DC universe, and we got people, we got superheroes, we got the new gods, we got the Monitor, and then we got the Endless. They are all the way on the edge. There are 7 siblings, all named D. There is, in order from oldest to youngest, Destiny, Death, Dream, um, Destruction, Desire, Despair, and Delirium. And
Sounds like it's a bad crew.
it was the 90s, bro. And they are not life forms. They are anthropomorphic personification of those things. Kind of like the super cosmic things in Marvel. Like
Yeah.
when you look at universe.
Like when Celestials have to kind of like assume a form that you can understand.
Now I'm talking beyond Celestials. We're
Oh,
talking
oh,
those
you mean
kind.
like a Phoenix Force or something like that?
Yeah, like Chaos and Disorder and the Living Tribunal. They're on that
Yeah.
level. Okay. But they are those things. Destiny is destiny. Death is not the Grim Reaper. Death is what the Grim Reaper wields.
Ah.
Dream is not, he is the Sandman, and he has a bag of sand, but he is Dream. He is the concept of Dream, and he's the titular character of the story. And it's about his first set of character growth since the aspect of Dream named Morpheus came into creation. Because they don't die, they just change aspects. So if you manage
Okay.
to kill one, there'll be another Dream, there'll be another Death. It'll just be another aspect of that concept.
Okay.
We're
Therefore,
talking,
being endless.
yes,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Cool. Now we're on
So
the same train. We heading to the
yeah,
same station.
exactly. Exactly. So the story revolves around something happens to Dream, and he has to recover from that. And then we come into the story from the initial incident that happens with Dream, and we follow him until he essentially recovers from everything that happens.
Okay.
And we get to see the consequences of what happens when the Endless stop doing their jobs. They go on little mini adventures, and since these concepts touch the lives of everything in creation, we get to look at the stories of the people that interact with them directly. So,
All right. All right. So
so that's
with
the
that,
overall concept.
so with that said, that sounds interesting, and I'm like,
It really
cool.
is.
Supernatural, I'm down with it. I mean, well, the actual show Supernatural, I thought that was cool too. But Supernatural, but this doesn't sound like a supernatural action or horror. This sounds like it might be on the supernatural drama. So this might be something new for me. I don't
Well,
know. So
the comic is it is a drama. It is a drama. It doesn't have much action adventure, but it's very navel gazy. It's very, once you understand what you're looking at, it's oceans of depth. Until then, you're kind of going, huh? Like in the first story arc, John Constantine makes a cameo.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do the John Constantine thing. It literally, as soon as Dream pops up around Constantine, you know, Constantine's like, yeah, that's right, I'm Constantine, I'm cocky knight. Dream shows up, he's like, oh, you want your thing? Okay, let's go get your thing. You know, that's what we're
I mean, this is coming from someone who's buying the hardcovers of Deceased just because Constantine is in it.
Yeah.
Just because Constantine is in it. Straight up.
Yeah, Deceased is.
I like John Constantine. I've been looking around for a Hellboy hardcover, but I'm only able to find trade paperbacks, but that's a whole other issue. So they're coming on Netflix. Yep. Everybody's feeling good. People are hyped. All right. And like anything that happens in Hollywood, they have to cast people. You know, people got to play these parts.
Rest in power.
You know what I'm saying? No different than your high school play. They gotta get somebody to play this person. So, there have been some people that were not as excited about some of the casting choices. So I'm going to throw this link in the chat so you guys can get, you know how I do. I got to give y'all the link. Here's the link in the chat. Comes from CBR.com. You know how I feel about CBR. We on like this. But today we gonna rock with them. They're actually reporting. This isn't like no rumor police mess. They're actually just straight reporting.
I read the article. I'm like, wow, this is short.
Yeah, it's CBR. Just
yeah.
So the title says Sandman creator Neil Gaiman has no time for your casting complaints. Author Neil Gaiman is speaking out against racist and sexist responses to the casting of Netflix's Sandman series. And basically saying Neil Gaiman has had it. Now they have a video there to kind of like, you know, of course you can watch it in your own time and, you know, see how you feel about it. But there were people that had tweeted about a certain cast, a certain casting. Below, they aggregate a couple of tweets. And what I like is the response. So there's one, Thinwake comes through and says, why sell out? Just stand by your work, or do you lack the intestinal fortitude? It hurts me more than you just don't even give a love. All right? So
I'm doing the angry pace. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm doing this mother right here.
So Neil Gaiman shoots back, says, I give all the love about my work. I spent 30 years successfully battling bad movies of Sandman. I give zero love about people who don't understand / haven't read Sandman whining about a non-binary desire or that death isn't white enough. Watch the show, make up your mind. Now, so, all right, that's one down. Poof.
This is coming from a man that said George R.R. Martin is not your monkey. He will write the story when he writes the story.
So Asia 3D says, Death is black? Really? She was one of the most iconic characters. She was like a tiny, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I apologize. Shusi with a very white face and very black clothes and post-punk hair. So before I read Neil Gaiman's statement, there's a weird thing right here where death is black, really. Then the first statement after that is she was one of the most iconic characters. Black people can't be iconic, but we'll get into it later. So Neil says, if you think the endless have any specific human race or form, you've missed something in Sandman. Don't worry, watch the show.
Yeah.
Yo.
Ooh.
I love how Neil get down. So, of course, there's more people that go in, but the article ends saying, in response to accusations that he sold out by endorsing the Netflix adaptation and its diverse cast, Gaiman pointed out that he spent 30 years preventing any Sandman adaptations that didn't live up to his standards and stated, quote, I give zero love about people who don't understand. I'll let the rest, we've already spoken about the rest. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll leave you guys with this quote on this one. Someone says, the voice in the darkness says, the F is this. Seriously, what is this? Half of these people should be men. The pronouns are unnecessary, and I can already sense the poop of agenda pushing. You loved up once again. None of you can do anything right. Now,
I'm gonna take 1 minute here just to give you some major props on your paraphrasing and your word replacement. That is a class act. That seriously, man. I might have to steal that.
So, all right. So now the cast is, and we'll go through the cast in a second, but he responds saying, it's the, quote, half of these people should be men. That is your clue that some of the shouty people might not have read Sandman.
Yeah. Yes.
Because technically you could be in a situation where Constantine's been in before, where this entity has been a woman and he was like, oh yeah, and actually had some fun times, and then meets this entity again and is like, oh, you a dude.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the last one? No, but
yeah.
So we got Tom Sturridge, Gwendolyn Christie, Kirby Howell Baptiste, Boyd Holbrook, Jenna Coleman. So it's they got white people, black people, short people, fat people. They got all kinds of people. They got Patton Oswalt, who, depending on the day, I can take his voice. You know what I'm saying? They got a diverse cast.
Whether it's gonna be Merv or the Crow, one of the two. I'm just trying to think, where would I put Patton Oswalt in the cast? Because it's a very colorful cast.
He's hold on, let me throw that in the chat. Hold on, let me see. Throw the chat in the cast. I mean, the cast in the chat right here, so you guys can see. Here's the cast. Oh, it won't even. Oh, because it's too. Interesting. The link is too long. Just search Netflix cast of Sandman or Netflix Sandman cast, and you'll see it. And then with you, of course, Solar, I'll throw it in, throw it in FB so you can see it. So,
I'm just.
It shouldn't.
All right.
Okay, well, I guess I'll say this. I do understand when there are issues around casting that seem to not reflect the energy of the character. Mm-hmm. But even in situations where I'm like, oh man, they casted this person, you, for better or for worse, have to guess that maybe there was something either in the interview about it, or in the maybe in the audition, maybe in the conversations with the director, that maybe made them gravitate to it and really want to be part of this project. Yeah. And of course, with someone like Neil Gaiman, he doesn't come off as someone who's just kind of like letting his properties be everywhere. He doesn't come off like that. So I don't think people are giving him enough credit and enough time or enough rope to be like, all right, go on, do your thing, let's see. Because, none of his other. It's not like he has a whole bunch of stuff out there that's like straight trash or something. You know what I'm saying? Where people just doing crazy stuff.
The closest thing he has to just straight trash by the numbers was Stardust. That was it. That was all. The Stardust movie did not do well, but Coraline, banging. American Gods did really well until it didn't.
Yeah. until they ruined themselves, and that wasn't Neil Gaiman's fault.
Yeah. What else? What was it? Good Omens. Skyrocketed through Amazon.
Which I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I have enjoyed what I've seen.
Yeah, the 2 or 3 episodes of the X-Files that he wrote were some of the best ones that hit the show.
Never knew that.
Yeah. And Sandman came out in 1995-96, number 1. Okay, 95-96.
Okay.
And it is still in the top 200 sellers. Still.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it is up there. Like Neil Gaiman was essentially, he wasn't the same, but he was like, you got Alan Moore right here, and then you got Neil Gaiman here. Like Gaiman was at the head of the British invasion of comics when we got Mark
okay.
Ellis, Grant Morrison. Neil Gaiman was at the top, and you know, and the thing is, like, one, he's just a cool guy. I've been to a few panels where he spoke, and you know, he's the one that coined the term. Like, if Terry Pratchett and I wanted to get together and write a book, there would be a bunch of men in the offices with fat briefcases and skinny ties yelling at each other for about 3 weeks before Terry and I could talk to each other. So it was fun. We wrote a book, and that's about it. You know, he's just a cool dude. Except when it comes to business. When it comes to business, he don't play. He almost took the rights of Spawn from McFarlane. Because
I remember that. Yeah.
You know,
Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane still ain't like. They still ain't like.
It's like, I know you, but I don't know you.
They ain't really down. Like, I forgot all about the Spawn beef. Because what did he create? Was it that he created Angel? Who did he create?
He created Angela. Yeah.
Angela, sorry.
And
so he created Angela. I forgot about that beef.
Yeah, and he beat McFarlane in a court suit so that he could put Angela in Thor. So I mean, he is serious about his work. I mean, he's been working for 30 years, and he has been pushing. People have been talking about casting Sandman forever, and I'm not talking fans. I'm talking major companies.
They've been wanting to do it for a long time,
and he's been like, "Let me see the script." Nah, son. Nah, let me see that script. Nah. Wait, who you got writing? Yeah, I've read his last 3 things. Nope. No,
well, it's like, I mean, it's probably a bunch of companies like Disney with Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, but let's keep it real. Actually, what people like me have been saying for like the longest time, J.J. Abrams finally comes out and is just like, all right, you got me. We had no plan. And then it's like, it's weird because these are the people that this is your whole job. You have nothing to do. How is there no plan? Because I'm going to be honest, I could probably spitball and workshop a better trilogy with maybe like you and maybe like Jason Reeves or something like that.
Oh, I promise you.
But at the same time, I do also understand business interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's certain things that I might want to do that are like, no, we can't do that. Got to bring the children in, or we want to make it for families. We got to do this and blah blah blah. So I understand that as well.
We get 15 swear words, you know, and one bomb, and it's the whole business is the whole business. But when it comes down to it, Gaiman has stood hard on that property. It really was like, it's got to be the right company with the right sensibilities that will listen. And Netflix came through, especially like The Game of Thrones TV show opened up a whole world of book adaptations. Harry Potter kind of unlocked the door, but Game of Thrones opened it because it showed the executives, look, man, this stuff makes money. People read. And as soon as you put this stuff on screen,
and they feed each other.
Yeah. All those readers are going to watch it, and all those readers are going to have family members and friends that have never read it. And then it's going to be, hey, let me talk to you about this. Maybe be on my YouTube show and let's talk about this thing I've never read that you read.
Or, you know, the show's over. Let me go back and read it and see what was different or what more was, you know. So to the casting issue. Okay, first of all, we'll go ahead.
Issue. Okay, there is no casting.
Well, yeah, sorry.
They casting.
What I mean to the controversy around the casting. Because there's really not a casting issue. I don't have a issue with it, but it's an adaptation. It's going to adapt. It's going to change. Here's what you want from an adaptation. Regardless of who's playing it, whether they change a man to a woman or a woman to a man, or I don't know, a blonde to a brunette, or a black person to a white person, or a white person to a black person, whatever. Because this is outside of white supremacy implications. We're shelving that for right now.
Okay.
As long as the character does what that character would do. Like, for instance, you might not like Chris Evans as Captain America, but he is written very Captain America-y. You know, he's written in a very Captain America way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're like, hey, whether I like the character or not, this is something that how Cap would respond in this situation. Or how, you know, Batman would be, or how Superman would be, or how, you know, Iron Man or whoever in these, Wolverine, whoever, this is how these people would act. This is how Spider-Man would act in this situation, given the general amount of content that he has. I know Spider-Man's been a lot of things, but Peter Parker, if we're talking about Peter Parker or if we're talking about Miles, in general, this is how this person would respond or react in this situation. That's what you should want, because they're gonna change. I mean, think of it. If we wanted to be hardcore, we could be like, well, Hugh Jackman's too tall, so throw him out of there. You know, but it's like now everybody's like, yo, man, he's dope.
Jackman,
So it's like you don't
play. You don't. But then every time we talk about,
you got to give it some time.
Well, every time we talk about this, I got to bring up 1999. Okay, not the Prince song, but the year. Because 1999 was the first and only time any comic book character was cast and the fans said nothing but good things. True. That was it. That was Patrick Stewart, Professor Xavier. Everybody shut their mouths. You know, McAvoy.
Okay, cool, word.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Captain Picard? Yeah, all right, cool. Everybody else in every comic book, who's this Tobey Maguire? I mean, I was on that train with Heath Ledger. I'm like, Knight's Tale, dude? Oh, man. Boy, was I wrong, you know? I'm like, this ain't Brokeback Gotham, you know? But, I mean, that's just
Brokeback Gotham.
That's just what comic fans do.
The very nature of the geek space, unfortunately, I don't want to say this because I wish it wasn't true, but maybe not the very nature, but there's a large atmosphere of gatekeeperiness in the geek sphere.
Well, the geeks,
and maybe it's because
it's my turn to be a jerk, you know, and
it's like it's my turn. Whether you're playing in the FGC, I've seen it around fighting games, I've seen it around comic books, I've seen it around regular novels and, you know, TV shows.
And let's people do it. Star Wars is the worst.
Star Wars, I think, might be. I think Star Wars. You know what? I don't know if they're the worst, but Star Wars, y'all showed y'all butt these last say 10 years. Y'all showed everything y'all had.
I will go back as far as 2001. They have been allowed since the prequels, and
Yeah.
you
But
know,
see, at that time, at least they didn't have a black man that was in the leads or a woman that was one of the leads or the
so
lead
jumping on white
to be
supremacy.
mad about.
I mean, if we shifted gears, yeah, let me know because
Yeah,
I do
because
got some stuff to say. Um,
John Boyega laid it out, and it's like that's a whole other thing.
yeah,
You had so yes,
okay,
Star Wars is probably, even though I love Star Wars might be one of the worst. They have people
yeah.
still mad at Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what, the movies are done. Well, you got the Mandalorian, you got
Yeah.
Rebel, you got the Clone Wars.
Yeah, you
There's
finished up the
still
Clone
good,
Wars. Now you
there's
got
still good
Bad
Star Wars
Batch.
content. So, but again, I
Yeah.
get I get what it's like to choke on false hope or be disappointed or have fear of being irrelevant. I get all of that.
Yes.
But let's talk about this casting, okay? Sandman is in a very unique position
Mhm.
because, as Gaiman wrote, he thought that people liked Death because of who she was. Okay, um,
Mhm.
it is almost impossible to miscast the Endless, and I will tell you why. Um, the Endless are anthropomorphic personifications of concepts. So their performances, not the way they look, but their performances,
Yeah.
are the essence of everything they are. Destiny is really aloof and enigmatic because
Hmm.
he is cursed with the book of destiny that's chained to him. That is everything that is, was, and will be ever in the multiverse. So he doesn't have emotions. He knows. Destiny knows everything. And since Destiny knows everything and feels nothing,
Mm.
the only way you screw up is by casting someone who emotes. you know, um,
Yeah.
is really nice and really cool and really jolly. Every person who meets Death is like, you're not what I thought you'd be. And she's like, yeah, like her catchphrase. You know how Superman is up, up, and away?
Yeah.
Death's catchphrase is "afraid so."
Hmm.
You see her? It's like, that's it. Afraid so. And that's it. She's just cool.
Wow.
Morpheus, Dream himself is very, let's just say there is an unconfirmed rumor that he was based on Robert Smith from The Cure. So he's goth. He spends most of his time whining and brooding.
Mm. Now I will say, when it
Mhm,
comes to Morpheus,
mhm.
they missed an amazing opportunity to cast Lawrence Fishburne. That's all I'm
No,
saying. They
no,
missed an amazing
no.
opportunity.
Well, see,
Even
here's the
even
thing.
if it was fake casting, like they put it out on Monday and then Tuesday was like, "Sight, we just playing." Like there would
Well,
still been the bomb, just to be
see,
like,
in truth, the way that Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, talked to Neo in the first Matrix is how Destiny acts.
mm,
But he knows as much as the Oracle. So, like, there's a moment from the comics where they're like, "Oh, well, why did you call us here, brother?" He turns the page. We are to have dinner. And then partway
like,
through the
well, is
and
it
you
good?
guys are going to talk. That's it. Because he can't tell you why, because that's not in the book.
Or you could
Um,
go crazy like Agent Smith when he's like, "Did you know I was going to smash the cup? Did you put it there specifically for me to break it? Huh?" Like,
that's
you're like,
actually
you know,
how
you're
people
crazy, right?
act when they meet Destiny. That's kind of the point. Um, like Destruction is the coolest one of all of them. Like you could literally have a beer with Destruction and not know. you know.
Mm.
Um, Now Desire, because I heard the word agenda come up in those things, and I am angry. because
Okay.
the concept of the concept of desire and despair, number one, they happened at the same time. They're the twins of the seven. Um, Despair is drawn as a short, fat lady with sharpened teeth. Okay.
Dang.
Desire,
Yo.
but desire is all the way androgynous because desire is want. Okay. Desire is the essence of wanting, not just greed. Greed is only a small aspect, tiny. So when you focus on the lust aspect of desire,
you kind of minimize what desire is.
Well, that again, that's just an aspect. But when it comes to the hey, I want that, this is the desire of everything that exists. So desire can't be male or female. Yeah. Because women want to. And what about
also,
you? What
also
about
this whole thing of okay. Mm-hmm. I'll say this before I start. Agendas do exist.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
All across Hollywood, all across politics, all across the commercials you watch, the magazines you see, agendas are there.
Yes.
But just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's an agenda. Sometimes you just don't like something. Sometimes you just don't like something. Sometimes you don't like something, and it's okay for you to not like it, but that doesn't mean that there's somebody behind the curtain like, ooh, I hope John figures out my plan. No, John, you just don't like it.
I will tell you, with the whole entertainment, internet, streaming, movies, TV, comic book, magazines, there is one agenda. One. Make money. That's it. And it's money, is there a group that we don't get money from? We better do something that'll make them give us money. That's the agenda. That's the whole agenda. So when it comes to like representation and stuff like that, I am strong on representation. You know this about me, and your viewers who actually know me know I'm all egalitarian. I think everybody should have a seat at the table. However, when it comes to casting desire, the concept of want, it can't just be a woman. It can't just be a man. It can't just a Hemsworth. It's gotta be.
I mean, maybe you could probably play something in an interesting way where you have a man and a woman play that character, where like almost mid-sentence and you like cut, you turn your head and come back and it's a woman. That could be interesting depending on how but that's more money, that's more effects, that's more everything. So
and it's also very confusing.
So you can probably play around with something like that, but that's more money.
Yeah, but I will say this. When Sandman first came out and we were playing those games of who you would cast as who, old boy from the Crying Game was my pick for desire, and I'm not talking Forrest Whitaker. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's cool. That's a whole thing. Prince would have been a great cast for desire. Because desire is androgynous.
With the buttless chaps.
You know what? Prince did it. And then thousands of people did it too, but desire is desire.
But he also had hooping skills, man.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But as Constantine was based on Sting, and Morpheus could possibly be based on Robert Smith from The Cure, desire was very much based on Bowie during the Thin.
Makes sense. Okay? Especially when you look at movies like Labyrinth or something like that.
Man Who Fell to Earth, it's that era where literally desire was based on Bowie at the time where Tilda Swinton could have played, that kind of things. It's like man, woman, boy, girl, I don't know, but it's kind of sexy and I'm kind of uncomfortable right now, kind of thing. That's what desire really is,
I mean, Tilda, you cool, but I'm I'm not personally checking for you, but you know what I'm saying? More power to you. You know what I'm saying? More power
Um,
to you.
but yeah, so I mean, it's
Only thing I can think of is like, you just, the bald cap, really?
oh, you're talking about the ancient one, yeah.
Yeah,
But
like this is
when
the
you
bald cap.
Constantine,
Like we could,
yeah,
like she could just
like
rock hair. I mean, she already
like
looks weird, so she could have just kept the hair.
but like if you check out Tilda Swinton in Constantine, where she played Gabriel,
Very good.
that was very much a desired template. You
And
know
shouts
what I
to
mean?
Keanu Reeves, man. That movie is actually kind of better than people give it props for. But then you got Shia in it, so you got to kind of like take some points off.
Yeah,
So,
it's 10 years later, I watched that movie
because
and I'm
Papa
like, all right,
Midnight
this
is
isn't as
dope, like all
bad.
those scenes are dope.
Yeah, it's not as
Ah,
bad as I thought, and Keanu Reeves wasn't as he was better than I gave him credit for.
yeah.
He's not as good as the dude that eventually played Constantine,
Oh no, no, no.
but he was all right. And
Yeah.
the story, and I see why you're not reading Sandman because Constantine the movie is a great example of that because it pulled from two different trade paperbacks and
Oh,
and it changed up a whole lot of stuff in both trade paperbacks. And it wasn't just two trade paperbacks for one movie. It was two trade paperbacks from two completely different writers, which is
oh.
why the whole plot seemed really disjointed.
And speaking
Um,
of Constantine, that goes back to I forgot who in the chat said it was talking about Fox is a bad place for supernatural stuff. Constantine was another one where I remember making the argument like if Constantine was on FX or AMC, it'd still probably be on now.
all day, all
Like
day.
it'd still be on now.
Yeah,
But
that for Swamp Thing
unfortunately,
because yeah, that they spent too much money. But the
the
sad
show
thing
was
is, we
the
saw
show
where
was
it went.
solid though. The show was solid.
We
Like
saw where the money went. They just spent too much of it.
that's why people are going to streaming because I ain't going front. When I saw Star Trek Discovery, I was like, oh, CBS got money.
Yeah, yeah. CBS has
I was
got
like,
the
CBS
second.
got money.
Yeah, and NBC screwed us out of Constantine. That's what they did because they
Mm,
got the money and they had the adult thing. It was great, but the thing was, their number expectations are farther than anyone else's.
yeah,
Uh, because it got higher ratings than everything on the CW if you count the ratings as person per person.
yeah, true.
But it wasn't up to what NBC normally needs to do because they charge a lot for their airtime because they're the most watched network. You
Yeah.
know, people watch NBC than watch Fox News. I mean, that's so
Well,
it's
it's
if you were pulling Fox News numbers on NBC, you got to go.
the thing
Yeah.
is like the thing about Constantine is that's a show that was good enough, I think, to see if a time slot change in season 2 could fix it. Because remember, it was also on Friday night. So
Um,
it was like, come on, because they were trying to use it as a lead into Grimm. And I'm like, they're both supernatural shows, but they're not the same. Grimm is very. I was done with Grimm when they brought the girlfriend back, the
that
one that
was I
didn't
don't
want to get married but wanted to live in my house. Don't at me. I'm just saying. Look,
yeah,
if I propose and you say no, guess what? Living arrangements is changing.
I
But
couldn't do Grimm because I read Fables, and Grimm was kind of a. I'm not gonna say it was dumbed down Fables, but it
it,
was
it
the written
was, it was. But I watched it
and
because the brother from Lincoln Heights was on it. So
I and I tried. I really tried. You know, I'm not gonna. I tried, and I'm like, no, no, no. You're
nah,
cute, honey. Yeah, bless your heart for trying, but
you're trying,
but I
and
read Fables. You're not for me. You know,
I didn't
and
hate it, but it wasn't awesome at the same time. So
what Fables book?
no,
Yeah,
Grimm.
Rim, yeah. But yeah, so when it comes to Sandman and these people going, oh, it was iconic. Now, don't get me wrong, all right? Um, I don't front about anything. I love little goth girls. I do, all right? And Death's art in all the books she was essentially the essence of little goth girl. We're talking
Yeah.
5'2", 110 pounds, always wearing a black corset and tight black jeans. Her symbol is an ankh, so she had an ankh around her thing. I mean, it came out in the 90s, y'all. So
Yeah.
she looked straight out of Hot Topic, all right? And I'm cool with that.
Oh, Hot Topic. Oh boy.
You know, but guess what? Times change. I'm in
Thank
my
you.
mid-40s now, you know? So Death, as long as Death is still quirky and polite and kind, that's all she needs to be for this show. That's
Yeah,
it.
because
Fact.
you know, you don't want a death that's like, even though, you know what, I'll say this. I did like this person, but you can't have a death like the older guy in Supernatural.
No.
Even though I think he killed that role.
Hmm.
Like, I think he
No,
killed that role.
you want to know who Death was like in the books?
Oh,
Ella from Lucifer.
wow, really?
Put her in goth gear, and you've got the casting that people want. The thing is, the people ain't paying for the show, and
Thank
the
you.
people didn't write the show.
Thank
So,
you.
you know.
And speaking of Lucifer, I will be talking about Lucifer probably this weekend coming up. But I got some scheduling stuff I've been trying to pull together. But yes, we will be talking about Lucifer. I know it's over, you know.
let me know, because I'm all in. But yeah, so I mean that is Death's attitude, is the Ella character from Lucifer. So dress her up like Eve or herself, or put her in the goth.
But she's not white enough. It's the
Right?
same argument that they had with Domino. It's like, yo,
You know
she's
what?
not white. It's a condition.
And I'm
So
not
just
gonna
let her
lie.
have.
I'm not gonna lie. Domino was never one of my favorite characters, and Zazie sold it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I can see why people like Domino now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, what sold it for me was not only Zazie, but the fight scene where, because of course, since she's like lucky when she wants to be, the fight scene between her and Cable, where Cable's like, what is happening? He's like, hold on. I know how to fight. I know how to shoot and punch, but somehow I can't touch you. I like that scene where he had that look on his face, like, what's going on here?
I like the scene where
it was interesting to see, like, oh, that's how her power works. Like her and Long Shot, I guess.
I like the scene where Deadpool was actually complaining about how she's not a good character. And it was like, her stuff ain't even cinematic. I mean, seriously, she's just got love. What does that mean? Okay, this is her, hits this other thing. I'm like, thank you. That's the way to show how her power works.
But she just lands on nice and smooth.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, when it comes to Sandman, okay, Sandman is 10 stories or 10 trade paperbacks, right, where every other one focuses on the family. Okay, every other one focuses. So issues 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Where should I say trades? All right, they're the ones that actually focus on Death and Dream and all those guys. And yeah, but when the idea of making it into a movie came out, I was personally going, no. For reason,
because a movie isn't long enough.
Well, each trade paperback could be made into a movie. Preludes and Nocturnes has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And but after that, it's not.
I feel like a trade probably needs more than like 2 hours to like. Well, maybe not. No.
You can
trim fat on stuff. You can trim stuff.
Okay. And you get the essence. Okay, as long as you get the essence. But Preludes and Doll's House and Seasons and I'm like, no, this is a TV show. This needs to be a TV show. Excuse me. Yeah, it needs to be a TV show, and I think Netflix is a good platform for it because the stories themselves seem disjointed. Like Volume 2, The Doll's House, introduces a character named the Corinthian who isn't very important until book 9. It's like, why are you here? Oh,
Wow.
he had to make a nightmare. Okay, well, we now know that since dream is dream and nightmares are part of dreams, it makes sense that it's there. Thank you for showing us the darker aspects. And then come book 9, you're like, that's why he's here. You know, that kind of thing. But it's just, again, I read the books every other year because as I get older and as I get more educated, I see more in the stories.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's just, it's one of those things. It's on.
I had to put it on my list. Come on. Yo, DC, where's the omnibus? Where's the like the this thick Bible of all of them hardcover? Just give me the hardcover. I prefer hardcovers. I want the whole thing. All right.
They might. Well, that's the thing. The trades are fine because each trade is a complete story in itself.
So it's like a trade isn't like a piece of the story. Like, oh, this is just issues like 1 through 6 or something like this.
Well,
it's like each trade is like an actual, like it has an end. It's not going to cliffhang you.
Yes. Although they're kind of like Jonathan Hickman as a comic writer takes a lot from Neil Gaiman's story structure. Because you can read a Hickman story from beginning to end and you'd be like, man, that was good. And then 4 trade paperbacks later, something really important that happened when Johnny Storm died in Fantastic Four, and then it reflects something really important in Avengers. And it's like, okay, yeah, that was clever. You know, that's the way.
And speaking of Hickman, I just picked up the House and Powers of X hardcover.
That's another show.
So yeah,
that is another show. I'm like,
it's pretty thick.
That I've been wanting back.
And they got the larger pages on this one, so it's not like the small comic book page size hardcover. It's like the larger hardcover, and like it's
nice.
It's quality. I give it. It's quality. It's quality.
Yeah.
But
so
you
don't have to
guys
look at that. But yeah,
to the casting guys, come on now.
Yeah, I mean these are anthropomorphic personifications. You know, Dream is not white, black. Like the other thing about them is that they all have the Galactus effect as well, in the sense of you see them however your mind can conceptualize them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Example, in the story, Morpheus has an ex-wife that was an African princess, and she sees him as a big strapping Nubian god with black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean black. But we see him as a wavy, thin, white dude with spiky black hair. But it's still Dream. You know.
Word up.
Yeah, Delirium changes her hair color per panel. And I'm not exaggerating. Like we're talking like Tonks and Harry Potter. But like, yeah, every other comic book panel she's in, because she is the essence of delirium. She is like, I can think she's crazy.
I don't know if I can hang with her like that.
Crazy. Well, she used to be Delight, and then something happened with the family, and she lost it. So that is what she is now. So she's crazy, but it's not that she has a health problem. She does not have a mental health problem. She is mental health problems. Like that is, those are the concepts that we're dealing with. So this is why I say, as long as you hire a good actor, it is impossible to cast this wrong.
Yeah, it's
because it's all in the performance.
Y'all just gotta, in a lot of cases, y'all just gotta pump your brakes on some of this stuff and just hold up. The show ain't even out.
Exactly.
When, what show does when does the show drop? When does the show even drop? Yeah, we don't have a trailer. I remember someone hit me up and was like, yo, do you want to do a podcast about it? And I'm like, well, when does it come out? Like, never? Like, because I remember being announced, then of course, we had the pandemic, and we still pandemic-ish right now. So, you got people wilding, you got people not wilding, whatever. But I'm like, when does it come out? I can't wait till it does because
Exactly. You
I
know,
think it's gonna be that hotness because Neil Gaiman, as far as what I know of him, hasn't really struck out yet.
he has.
Um
And
and
the only time work is not well adapted is when the budget isn't high enough. Stardust.
Good Omens.
I thought Good Omens was perfect.
The budget they be
It's
stretching that
BBC,
budget sometimes.
different thing. Okay, check out Neverwhere if you want to watch a low budget.
Okay.
Yeah, again, it's BBC. They don't spend as much money on that because it's funded.
And what is it, like 2 episodes for the whole season?
Oh no, it was 6.
You know how they do. It was like 3
yeah.
episodes in that season 1. You'd be like, this is not a season.
No, their series. They don't have seasons. They have series, and a series is a story beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
Which I actually like that model. I really do. Although it's hard to know because since everything is an end, it's always a nice surprise when you find out that you're not finished. But it's also a pain because I'm looking at you, Luther.
Well,
I didn't know there were 3 more seasons.
So shouts to Silhouetted Animator dropping mad stuff saying we're getting a Sandman teaser tomorrow.
Oh,
that should be dope. Also said that Neil Gaiman also said Morpheus will have a lot of heavy special effects added to him, like his face morphing in the Netflix show. So that's dope.
And shout out to 1988 Thomas. I forgot about Black Mirror. You know.
Oh yeah. Black Mirror. Yeah. Black Mirror held it down. There are some. They've been talking about. They've been talking about Justice League Dark in the chat as well.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it. Like, well, no, I want to see it, but I'll believe it when I see it because
of all the stuff that went down with Del Toro and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
my thing on the JLD, and you know how I'm all into the magic, right? If it's got magic people, I'm there. I'm half and half on JLD because it had such a hard start. But the stuff when came in, I'm like, I'm in. This is And you talked about Deceased, all in, just all my chips. That's
Deceased is pretty good.
You know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Justice League Dark. I'm kind of hyped about Shazam 2. I say kind of because I like Shazam. I don't like New 52 Shazam. Or more to the point, I don't like New 52 Billy Batson.
Oh, okay.
It was my boy. It's always nice to see somebody who's good for goodness sake. And somebody that can look at, you say that, but we all remember the Justice League episode where he laid it down and made Superman look like a jerk. Just like, I thought you were like this. I was wrong. I'm out. Yeah. I met my hero. You're Superman. You're my hero. I modeled myself after you, and you're like this.
Yeah, I
shouldn't have met you.
Thomas D. Shouts to Thomas D. Said I just saw a rumor for I guess Zack Snyder Dragon Ball Z movie. Bruh,
you know what?
Get that out of this chat. Get that out of here. You hear that?
I'm curious.
Get it out of here.
The only part about it that I'm curious about is because Dragon Ball's animation budget was so low that they had to give them super speed to not draw something. So I'm like, well, Zack Snyder can slow down the fight scenes. Nah.
No. Dragon Ball, even though this is coming from someone who enjoys Dragon Ball, some stuff is better in a certain medium.
Yes.
And I don't think
I 100% agree.
Silhouetted Animator said it can't be worse than Evolution. It can only go up from here.
I've had dental surgeries that were better than Evolution.
Bro, look, all right. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Zack Snyder, look. Just y'all don't want a Dragon Ball Z film with Zack Snyder.
No.
It's Zack Snyder. Dragon Ball Z is something that actually works best, probably animated. If you try to, there's certain things. animation can get away with certain things because it's animated. We by design, we've already kind of let certain things go because it's animated. But I mean, let's be honest. I know you love Pixar. I love Pixar. We all love Pixar. But if Pixar films were live action films, a lot of us would not rank them as highly as we do. Because when something's animated, I'm just being
Wow,
for
I thought
real.
I was bold.
When something's animated, we give a lot away when it comes to our scrutiny when something's animated, and it allows us to imagine in a way
No,
that live action doesn't.
no, I agree. There
Um,
is a certain level of disbelief that comes with animation that doesn't come with live action.
true.
That's why Disney translations don't go well. I think
No, they don't.
I think it was Lindsay Ellis that talked about in her thing on why movie musicals fail most of the time. The Disney movies are animated and musical, and you need both of them. So you don't go, wait, they're just breaking out in a song? Like, who's sitting around? I mean,
Yeah, it's
seriously.
like that doesn't.
That's why Lion King was the one that came closest to working. But, I looked at
But then it was kind of weird.
Yeah, so and again, that was Favreau. We know he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Thomas D
I'm not
said,
sure.
"Nah, there are some dope live action Dragon Ball films on YouTube right now. Are they films or are they scenes?
Yeah.
Are they films? Are you talking about this is 2 hours, 2 hours or so of
That's a
scripted
beginning,
dialogue and
and
acting,
it's a beat
and that's
sheet
dope? Or are we talking about a fight scene that's around 2 or 3 minutes that's cool to watch?
that we're happy to see.
That we're happy to see because we know we ain't never gonna get it.
Because let's face it, BVS was mainly controversial because people were just happy to see Batman and Superman fight. But like,
Thomas
wow,
D said
that was a good movie,
Thomas D said that Mario movie was bad, but not as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution. 15 minutes. Thomas D, that's not, I guess you
That
could
is
consider
not,
that a short film, but
yeah,
you're still got a
no,
lot more.
nah, son, I'm sorry. It's
Got like
it's there's a reason that again, like it's that same thing. You're absolutely right with the medium is the message, because there was no way Avatar: The Last Airbender could have had a good live action movie. There's also a reason that we haven't gotten a good Dune, from Frank Herbert. Not to say that it's undoable, but I mean, there's got to be one, lots of money, two, lots of freedom, three, lots of vision, and four, everybody in the crew has got to be a true believer. And that's why Lord of the Rings did well and Aragon didn't. That's why Lord of the Rings was amazing and Highlander 2 was Highlander 2.
oh man. So
I'm
what you're
just
saying is that we can't get, well, no, we got Dune coming, but what about Doom? What about that? You know what I'm saying?
Bruh. One, Doom is impossible to make into a good movie because it doesn't have a story. It has
I mean,
a
there
premise
is a
and it's
story.
got violence.
It's loose. It's loose, but there actually is a story. There is a story. Doom does have a story.
Doom has a premise. It is a premise of we dug too deep, demons came up, now we got to fight them to put the demons back. And
but there's like ancient gods and stuff. There's stuff there.
You know what? I'm going to defer to you because you know more about
I think it could be done. I think we need true believers in there though. I don't think the Doom Annihilation on Netflix, that's not gonna get it done. That's not gonna get it done for you. I think but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing, because you don't have true believers and you try doing something like Castlevania, say,
Yeah.
and then you get Van Helsing starring Hugh Jackman.
Yo,
You know,
that Van Helsing boy. But
so,
but we have Castlevania now. It's animated. It's on
yeah,
point. Um, there's very few things I have as far as issues with it, and it's the best video game adaptation we've ever gotten. Well
really,
animated, well voice acted.
okay.
Like Castlevania, do not sleep. Castlevania comes through. Yes,
I have
it's
to take a look.
Netflix, and Netflix feels like they don't need to give a budget to animation for some reason. So there are some parts in the animation where, all right, in this final season of on Castlevania, the fighting scenes were sweet, but then there's one sweeping shot where they're like showing like the village, and there's a lady literally moving like this.
Okay.
But I'm like, but I know because Netflix would be like, all right, you want to do an animated series? Check it. Your first season gonna be 4 episodes. What? How we gonna? I mean,
You know
but
what?
I understand. I understand they're focused on the live action, but Castlevania comes through. It really does. Castlevania comes through.
I'll have to check that out when I got
Much
some
love
time.
on that.
Yeah, you know.
So
But with No Game and Sandman coming
with
out
that,
on, like, have they released anything about if it's gonna be a show? Is it a one-shot movie? It should be a series, in my
it's a
opinion.
series. It's a straight up
It should
series. So they're gonna be good.
get like 5 or 6 seasons. Um, excuse me, because there's a lot of stuff that you can cut and not lose the spirit. Like
Mm.
a lot of people will hate me for saying this, but
Uh-oh.
those
Here we go.
no, you can't cut Seasons of Mist. That is important. But God, what was it? Preludes, Dollhouse, Brief Lives. Can't lose that one.
Like,
Mist. No, there was one, and one of them is just a compilation of stories.
Thomas
You
D
know,
said, "How do you guys feel about Sonic?" I've never watched it. Um, and then he also said, "Detective Pikachu was good." Also, Detective Pikachu was alright.
I did not watch either one of them.
It
Those are
was
videos
alright.
that came out after me.
I'm not
So
mad at Detective Pikachu, but for me it amounted to like stuff that's on in the background.
okay.
Plus, Detective Pikachu is in a different vein because it's an anime translation adaptation instead of a video game adaptation. Unless
Mhm.
someone is going to tell me that that Pokemon was a game first, but I believe it was an anime first. So we're in a
I
separate
know
area.
it was a manga first. um,
Oh, Silhouetted Animator says, was it the third volume Dream Country?
I think so. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, I
word.
Dream Country. Thank you,
Word.
Silhouette. But yeah. See, this is me aging myself. I could have looked it up, but I'm like, no, I read them all a lot.
I read them.
But yeah, one of the stories from Sandman is called The Dream of a Thousand Cats, where Morpheus is a damn cat.
Wow.
So if he can turn into a cat,
He can be a cat. If he can be a cat, he can be a cat.
if he can be a cat, he can be an African god. He can be a Robert Smith looking goth guy. There is no bad casting.
Yeah, it's just he was drawn this way, so I want that. But it's like, yo, this is an adaptation, and like like maybe at one point he will look like this. Who knows? I don't. But it falls back to most of it falls back all the way back to what I put on the shelf before. Since we're about to wrap, when we're going to wrap this up for y'all, I know we've been chilling, we've been out here kicking. I don't want to take too much of y'all time, so I'm going to take this back off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
What it really falls back to is white supremacy. White supremacy wants to see, because they say half of these should be men. I bet you, if half of these people were men that were not white, you would get the same argument. Then they'd be like, half of these people should be, so it's not a man thing. It's not. It never was. Just like, Death should be white. Of course she should, right? Of course she should.
Yeah, and yeah, it's white supremacy and sexism, because again, there are 7 of them, and they are concepts. No gender, no. The only one that's important as far as gender goes, as far as half of them should be men, is desire. Desire is non-binary. That's part of the character. But there was nothing intrinsic to death that makes it so she's got to be a little white woman. Okay. Now, if we were talking Lady Death from the other comic company, sure, that's fine. But I mean,
we're not talking about that.
White. That one is white. I'm not talking Norwegian. I'm talking Xerox. So
wow.
You know, but that ain't the death we're talking about. You know, yeah. So I mean, these are concepts. They've got the Galactus effect of they are how you see them. I did tell you I had Eminem show and earlier stuck in my head, so now I got I am whatever you say I am stuck in my head. That's what they are. That's really what they are. So and I gotta give my love to Neil Gaiman because he does not tolerate fan BS.
No,
he's just like, you gonna watch it.
And so Neil got time. And Neil apparently got time for y'all. Look.
He is.
You should have knew where he stood with the American Gods thing went down. When he stood up with Orlando Jones instead of Fremantle, you should have known, hey, let me not bring this, veiled, covered, thinly protected white supremacy at him because he's not going to agree. Also, I'm not going to change his mind. He's on his mission, putting out his stories, creating stuff, dropping his heat. All right.
And that's the thing. Like, one, he's already very wealthy from writing. Yes. Two, his wife is a rock star. He don't care.
He ain't thinking about y'all.
He writes because he can't not write.
Yeah.
He's not writing to pay bills. Bills are paid.
Yeah, there's people that are writing to pay bills, and at a time he was, but right now with with like 4 or 5 of his things not also being critically acclaimed and high selling or whatever, but also being adapted to movies or TV or whatever, he ain't writing to pay bills no more.
No,
you ain't pressuring him no more.
Yeah, he's writing because it's what he does.
Yeah, you ain't pressuring this man.
I'm not gonna watch all this. He was like, I don't care, and
like,
quit.
Fine. Don't watch it, while the other millions of people will watch it.
And then you're gonna end up watching it because people are gonna be talking about it at work tomorrow, and you don't want to be left out. And then you're
gonna be mad. You're like, whoa. I mean, death should still be white.
Yeah, seriously.
They're going to start every conversation with like, such and such should be white.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, such and such should be white, but I mean, I'll deal with it. Oh, you will?
I gave my shout outs to Michael Clark Duncan, rest in power, because this takes me back to 96 when he played Kingpin. Oh no, Kingpin is he's supposed to be a big dude that knows everything and is a freaking criminal mastermind.
Yeah, there's nothing, and remember they needed a super big guy that could also act. So, that's another thing that is a problem with Hollywood. Hollywood sets this type where you need to be rail thin or as close to thin as possible, and square jaw, or lanky, or if you are big, the biggest is probably around maybe Hemsworth or whatever. Because even Arnold Schwarzenegger tells a story about when he was, I don't know, Mr. Olympia or Mr. World or Universe or whatever he was. Yeah. They were like, you got to cut some of that muscle. You're too big. So Hollywood sets up this standard where every hero has to be the same size, or every man that wants to be in a movie needs to be the same size. Well, here comes this comic character that's supposed to be huge. Now, there's no one to play them because you set the standard of men or women that have to be the same body type. So now, when you have this character come along, that it should really be, I don't know, someone who's just as wide as they are tall. Now, you don't have anybody to play them. You know,
Well,
just like
speaking about diverse casting, since you know I've been off the radar handling some family stuff, did you do a video on the Eternals?
no, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to
Okay.
see the trailer. The trailer was I'm not mad at the trailer. I wanna see some more because you know I got my issues with Marvel and how they do some stuff. And it's just certain stuff about it where I'm like, when you do something this early in history with people this powerful, you write yourself into a very big problem of where were you?
Hmm.
Where were
Did
you?
you read Eternals?
No, I've never read Eternals. But the thing
There's
is, in the trailer, they make a statement meaning like, oh, well, we care now. And it's like, oh, well, I guess none of the other hundreds of millions of deaths mattered. You're gonna have to answer that question. And usually when writers answer that question, it's whack. So that's why I'm bracing myself already. I mean,
okay.
we've been down this road where it's like, well, I was around and I had the power to stop all of this, but I didn't because the sun was setting or something. It's always
Yeah,
some dumb reason
I
why they
kind of
didn't
get that.
interject. But
I
now they want to interject. And is the
see.
reason is actually even more flimsy than the reason you should have interjected. So that's why I'm waiting. I'm
Okay.
waiting.
In the Eternals books, um, the Eternals of Earth did bounce for a little bit because their whole thing is they're supposed to be doing this thing. So where were you was a valid question. But they bounced for a little bit as soon as humans started becoming superheroes. They're like, oh, y'all don't need us. I'm gonna go to the movies.
I'm gonna go
Um,
to the movies.
but the thing is, they were made by the Celestials, and the Celestials get back going. So where were you? Oh, well, see what had happened was the line at the store. We just had to go get some toilet paper, and the line at the store was out because of the COVID. And
Because of the
we here
COVID,
now,
the COVID.
you know. And I hope that's where they go with the movie. I really do. I hope that's where they
Yeah,
go.
as long as it's believable, but something usually when writers handle something like this, the reason they were gone is like, really though? Like, really? So that's why you were gone? Like, because actually, what's going on in this movie isn't as serious as the reasons you didn't come back for the other stuff. But we'll see. That's why I said I'm gonna hold on. We gonna
Okay.
see. We gonna see. I'm gonna see how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to dog it out. I'm just like, I got my eye on you. You know what I'm saying? Look, you right now, Marvel. You're come on, Marvel. You at about 90 to 95% good. I ain't really tripping. It's just
Yeah,
just
but
don't take me for a fool. You know what I'm saying?
the
Just
dark world happened, and the North remembers.
the dark
But
world. The trip about the dark world is that the dark elves could have been dope. Like
yeah,
they they
Chris
could have
Eccleston
been
wasn't a
dope.
true believer.
Like Malekith could have been dope. And like,
Eccleston was not a true believer. He was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. He was like Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever. And
oh,
he's not
but Tommy
telling.
Lee Jones and Batman Forever, that's gold. It's bad. Okay, let me tell you about how good Batman Forever is. And I know we've been here long. This is it. We ain't gonna do no more after this. All right, we're gonna clown Batman Forever for a little bit, and then we out. Batman Forever has not only Tommy Lee Jones going crazy, but you got Uma going crazy, and you got Arnold going crazy.
Oh, no, that
So
was
you
Batman and Robin. You're
Oh,
talking
sorry,
two
sorry,
different.
Batman Robin. Sorry, Batman and Robin. All right, so sorry, Batman and Robin. That movie is so perfect. You can watch it now and just be like, "This is crazy." Like
Sorta. Here,
Arnold with all the cold puns.
well, Batman and Robin, and I will say this, was Schumacher doing a big budget episode of the Adam West show. That's
All
really
right,
what it was.
cool.
And it's fine. Like honestly, the big thing that made people mad about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin was they are big budget versions of the Adam West Burt Ward show. That is not what we were promised. We were paying for some Burton shit. we
were not promised that.
Yeah, no, it was advertised as that dark, moody thing that came out in '89 with Michael Keaton furrowing his brow and
wow.
stuff like that. We were not expecting Adam West. We were expecting Frank Miller.
Not at all.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, the movie before had this freaky Danny DeVito biting off somebody's nose while Michelle.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then to go from that to Adam West and Neon, that was
the Neon. Oh snap! I forgot. Because we watched Batman and Robin. We did a review. We did a watch along on the channel, right? And I forgot that's the one where Alfred Alfred got the gun.
Yeah. Oh, so
we was like, Alfred got the gun in the stash. It was like, ah. And then remember the CD? She had to get the CD. Oh man, Batman and Robin is dope. Straight up.
It's fun. It's fun. It is not good, but it is entertaining. I've actually been noticing that there's a lot of youngsters out there that are doing reaction videos to stuff I grew up with, and I don't feel bad anymore.
He said, "I don't feel bad anymore."
No, I don't, because there was about 10 years where the stuff that I loved, the whole internet was going, "That's stupid. That's garbage. That's hot. That is hot garbage. That is a garbage fire." And now I'm seeing these 20-something-year-olds discovering the Isley Brothers, listening to Stevie Wonder for the first time, and watching Airplane. You want to talk a movie that holds up? Airplane.
Yeah, but that's also a movie that I don't think it could. Yeah, it wouldn't be made today. Like,
but
that's the thing about comedy is very much a time capsule. So don't expect something that you thought was funny when you were 5 to be funny now. You know what I'm saying? So. It can be, but don't expect it. Don't be like, oh, because some of that stuff you might be like,
yeah,
I should have said that. It's funny, but it's not right.
Yeah,
so
I watched the thing yesterday because I love watching young black men react to stuff that I grew up loving. Because we do get a little extra, and I've been watching 20-something-year-old black dudes watch The Exorcist for the first time. And that has one, because I'm like, yeah, guess what? Horror requires atmosphere. Yeah, atmosphere. And
see, I don't know because I was older than 20 when I saw it the first time. But the only thing I can remember about Exorcist, and this is no diss, because I know people love it and it's a classic. But that movie was long, man.
Yeah.
I was like, this movie is long.
It is long.
I was like,
but you know what? When you got
this movie long. When is her head supposed to spin around? Because of course, by that time you've seen all the cultural references. So you're like, all right, where's the puke? Where's the puke?
Yeah.
I want to see the puke. Where's the head turning around?
Yeah.
When did she kill the priest or whatever? Where are all these things?
On a night that you can't sleep, but you're tired, watch The Exorcist, and you're gonna be up all night.
Somebody just pitched to me, since I have HBO Max, they were like, yo, you need to go and watch the whole Conjuring series. And I was like, but I like sleeping though, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe of horror films. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, shout outs to the Ruthless Wonder. I'm glad he's here.
All right, so, speaking of this, they did throw in the chat real quick. Did we see the Namor casting? I sent it to you on Facebook. It's reportedly, let me see, did someone say, did someone from Marvel say that he's casted, or are people just saying this? Because you know how the rumor mill gets started. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this article on Screen Rant from Thomas Bacon. All right, first thing, his last name is Bacon. So I don't know if I can trust his words already. And But
You know,
Thomas Bacon, is Bacon your real last name? Like, is your daddy's name Bacon? All right.
yeah, you know
Don't be
it's
coming in
possible.
here with fake last names. All right. But with this,
Well, his name is Tanaka Huerta. Um,
ah,
honestly, um, real talk. I'm about to confess something that y'all might want to take away my geek credit for, but I've been cool on Submariner for a long time.
no, nobody's mad at you.
Yeah,
Namor hasn't mattered. Namor mattered for 2 seconds when he was in Illuminati, and that was about it. Nobody
yes.
cares. You can cast whoever you want for Namor, because I still don't care about him. The only thing that I care about is the fact that he was in the Illuminati for a second. He did help. He helped Doom take the Doom attack Wakanda, I think.
Yeah.
And then back
After,
in was it Latveria? T'Challa caught up with Namor. But T'Challa got him back. But
yeah. Well, that's kind of
that's
the
the only
thing.
thing I
So,
can vaguely remember.
yeah. See, one, I'm more of an Aquaman fan because it goes into a lot more cool stars, more stuff that's my resonance.
Word.
Because I'm hydrophobic. So
Mm.
any book that is set underneath the ocean has got to feature monsters for me. um,
Oh.
which is why I like Aquaman with Momoa, because spoilers. There's a part in the movie where he rides a kaiju into war with an army of cannibalistic shark tooth fish monsters. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that take my money because that's all I wanted
It
to
was
see.
crazy. I will say that underwater scene was kind of cool. Like it
Yeah.
was, and the
Um,
movie was better than it probably could have been. So there's
that
that.
movie had a pH of 1. Okay, that movie was basic. All right.
No, he
Um,
didn't say a pH of 1.
yes, it had a pH of 1. It was just so stock standard, but that's all right because it gave me everything I was paying for. It gave me
True.
Jason Momoa, gave me water, gave me some cool sci-fi tech, and it gave me somebody riding a kaiju with an army of monsters while he's throwing them at crab people. I'm like, okay, cool. That's the
And
pitch
it gave
me.
you a prologue of like mom and dad that was actually kind of sweet. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh, look at this nice couple falling in love and everything. And then the
Well,
fight scene, I was like,
if
oh
Nicole Kidman
snap.
watched up on my, if Nicole Kidman watched up at my house, my girlfriend would be like, "No, you better fall in love with that. That's Nicole Kidman." I mean that's the thing.
Yeah,
But when it
that's also it's also very random. Like, yo, I was just chilling one day.
then Nicole
Nicole
Kidman
Kidman
washed up on
washed
my
up on the
driveway,
shore. Like,
so we got married.
or I'd have been,
I
I'd have been
walked
like,
into the room,
Nicole, I get back in the water. Ain't nobody trying to see you. You know what I'm saying?
you know,
I'm
yeah,
married. Right?
yeah. So, but when it comes down to like, oh, this dude is cast as Submariner, I'm like, okay, are you
Right,
going to
work.
be riding a giant whale that you control with a conch shell through New York?
I mean, maybe.
Because if not, I don't care.
Maybe
Uh,
he'll. I mean, just
do I
Namor.
care about?
I just don't care about him in general.
Yeah.
And I know this. There's gonna be hardcore Namor fans out there. It's gonna be like, yo, but you don't understand, no Namor. I'm like, Namor is arrogant and whack, and like I've never seen a situation in comics where I'm like, yo, we need Namor. Like,
Bro, this is a job for the Submariner.
this is
You know that
like,
dude is
I feel the same way. Namor, all right, I'm about to be, all right, this is disrespectful. And then I'm done, we go wrap up. Namor is no more important to me than Jubilee from the X-Men. All right? No more important. Neither of them are useful in any fight.
You know what? I will go as far as to say less, because when Jubilee became the Queen of Vampires, she was dope.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I can
She
see.
was a vampire.
Let's see if we can get Jubilee as a team up. I'm with that. But never do I go, wow, We got Latveria in the left corner. We got Wakanda in the right corner. We got Krakoa in the north corner. You know what we need? We need Submarine. No, we don't.
Yeah. Now, E. Burnson comes through. Yes, we know. And I don't know, was this always this way or was it retcon? But Namor was the first mutant. So
not the first is a mutant.
Okay.
And that was retcon.
Yeah, I thought that was retcon. I don't think that was original. What's up, Jenna James? Nice to see you. I thought that was retcon. I don't think that was originally that way, but it's honestly, I don't care. Yo, Ruthless Wonder is foul, son.
You just saw that.
All right, now hold up. Let me defend Sakura for a second. All right. Ruthless Wonder says Jubilee is the prototype for Sakura and Naruto, just useless for useless sake. All right, now hold up though. There's been a few times where Sakura has actually helped out. Now, earlier along, all she did is cry. All right, she did. But once she got under Tsunade and she got them gloves, got them hands right, you know what I'm saying? She actually helped out. She could heal people. She could hit people with the ill punch. Sakura came up. Early Sakura, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Older Sakura.
I'm a fan of Krillin. So when it comes to useless for useless sake, I'm like, hey man, don't do Krillin like that. But yeah, so when I look at Namor, I'm like, you got to really bring it because one, he needs an antagonist, and if Marvel is doing it, it's got to be Akuma because there's nobody else. Because his number one antagonist is Reed Richards because he's always trying to be Prince. I'm gonna steal your girl.
Yeah, you know? And I mean, I guess I guess I figure.
Sorry, Akuma, not Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess they'll bring in, because remember they said that there was a earthquake underwater, so I guess they'll bring in the whole Wakanda and Atlantis beef, where I can see that working. And you know, kind of, but you know, E. Burns said Tiger Shark. Really though? You know what? If you can pull it off, I wouldn't be against the Tiger Shark.
I'm sorry. I guess I was.
It is crazy, but since we've already done Guardians of the Galaxy, so I mean, why not?
Now I look at Tiger Shark. I'm like, you ain't wearing a hoodie, you ain't a hacker, and you ain't talking about using the bathroom, the toilet. So I don't care.
Thomas D said Jubilee is like Dan from Street Fighter useless, bro. Dan. I remember when Capcom was like, "Oh, one of our DLC characters is Dan." I was like, "Do you want them to buy this or like because?" That's right, like your game is already like 6 years old, and your DLC character is Dan. Like, when you could have, but with all these characters, you could have added in another brother. You know what I'm saying? Could have added in another sister. But did you do that? Did you get Elena? Huh? You know, did you get Sean?
I'm not saying you could have added. I'm saying
you get my boy Dudley. You know what I'm saying?
Cleaned up DJ and made him less capoeira minstrel.
You could have made DJ doper. You could have, because DJ actually is very similar to Guile because back then they were trying to just make characters that were big. So, like, DJ could be sweet. DJ, Elena, Dudley, Sean, where they at? Well, but then you bring Dan in, dude, man, get out of here.
No, DJ quit the World Street Fighter Tournament and he changed his name to Eddie Gordo and he became dope. See, that's what happened.
He was like, my name's Eddie Gordo now.
You know.
Oh man. So with that said, guys, we have exhausted all the demons, exorcised the demons. They out of here. All right.
Yeah. So seriously though, I would say, with Neil Gaiman's Sandman, it's let's wait and see.
Yes.
His record speaks for itself.
Thank you.
Because between Black Mirror, Neverwhere, Coraline, Stardust, the first season of American Gods, I know I'm missing something. Um, Good Omens.
Yeah, Good
Um,
Omens.
yeah, Good Omens. You know, the worst of those works, in my opinion, was Stardust. And don't get me wrong, Gaiman isn't the perfect writer. Okay, I've always had a
Yeah.
problem with the fact that as Stephen King sucks with endings, Gaiman sucks with beginnings.
Mm.
You just you gotta ride it out for a couple of chapters with Neil Gaiman because it took me 2 years to read American Gods because I'm like,
Wow.
oh, I don't care. Your mama named you Shadow, says the dude named Solar. What the fuck? What's going on?
I don't care.
And, and I'm just, and then it got interesting, and then it didn't go back, and its sequel, A Nancy Boys. Now you want to talk about something that needs a show? They
Well,
should.
unfortunately, there's a little
Yeah.
beef there.
Oh no,
We're probably.
Nancy's not in the book. It's literally about his two sons. So I'm
Oh.
like, you know what?
So he's not in the book whatsoever.
Yeah. It's the sequel to American Gods, and it's fun. It's real fun, and it's very cool. And the dude from Lovecraft Country could be real good. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
he's
yeah.
now Kang, but
Yeah.
yeah. And shouts to
Um,
Lovecraft, man. Lovecraft was on point for real. Like
a lot of
that
people
show was that show. They rushed that ending, but
the
still
ending.
around 85 to 90% of the show was hotness. Then they rushed the ending that should have been a double episode. But I'm starting to notice that a lot in these streaming services. The finale always should have been a double. Like if your show is an hour long, your finale should have been 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a lot of them are like, yo, let's be real dope. Oh snap, I forgot. We only got one episode left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's only an hour left in this.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Except Invincible, Invincible nailed it. I
Yeah.
think it hit the right part. But yeah, so I say look at the record of the adaptations and the screenwriting that he's done, like with the X-Files,
Yep.
and with Doctor Who, because I believe no, that was Stephen Moffat, but yeah, he wrote. No, I think he did. No, he wrote the episode of Doctor Who where the TARDIS became a woman. That was a Neil Gaiman story. Where his
Interesting.
evil.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and
Huh.
it's called The Doctor's First Wife, and it was a great episode. Because Neil Gaiman, he writes fairy tales in the old sense, okay, and Sandman was his first stab at sort of a mythology in an old sense.
Okay.
So it's thick. It's real thick. It's one of those things that you got to read more than once. So I'm with that. I'm really with that. So oh yeah, I forgot about Cyberman. Shout out to Andre.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a great writer. He knows the medium. He's been working in the medium for over 30 years. So if he's writing it, I got faith in it. And that's just he knows how to pick a team. He knows how to fire people when they need to get fired. And his very first adaptation was Neverwhere, and it was all right. It was all right. But it was also BBC in 1997, 98.
Oh
So
yeah, you can't count that. You
yeah,
can't count that against them.
all in all,
Anything in the 90s that had anything with like sci-fi, supernatural, anything where a special effect had to be applied.
Bro, you're talking to a classic Whovian, all right? I watched Doctor Who in the early 80s, so my standards were all about the writing. But it was enjoyable. It was good. Technology's come farther. He's got more money, and he's doing this for an American company, so I got faith in it. As far as people going, this should be a man, this should be a woman, I'm gonna say something that I hate hearing myself. You don't like it? Go make your own show.
Yeah, or give it a chance, because you never know. It could be a man for the first 3 episodes and a woman for the rest of the first season. Because they're essentially whatever they want to be.
Yeah, in truth, I'm a grown man. I'm middle-aged. And you know what comes with that? The ability to admit when you are incorrect. I was wrong about Heath Ledger. Like I said, I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I was mad
I
wrong.
still do. No, I mean, yeah. And then I saw Dark Knight, and I'm like, all right, I was wrong. I was all the way wrong. You know.
Yeah, I was super wrong about Heath Ledger because I remember when they casted him, and I remember seeing Batman Begins, and I'm like, okay, so they're going for a more kind of like dark tone, more gritty or whatever. But when I looked at Heath Ledger, every picture that I saw him on the internet, he was always cheesing and smiling. I was like, this guy's too pretty. He's this guy can't be. He's not mean. Look at this guy. This guy,
You know,
this guy is he's too smiley. And
yeah.
then we saw
when
the
it comes
movie, and I was like, oh, okay,
and when it
I
came to the
work.
Big Ben cartoon,
I mean,
I
you know,
was
rest in
wrong
peace.
about old girl
But
from yeah, and I was wrong about old girl from Big Bang Theory being able to play Harley well. I was wrong about that. So you know what? Yeah. You know, here I am going, wow, I guess these people that make enough money to buy property in Los Angeles from doing this might know what they are doing.
just a little bit.
And this writer who writes because he doesn't need to make a living is allowing this team to make a show out of a property that he has told big studios no for 23 years. You know, and that's who they're letting do it. And I'm like, okay.
But I mean, Netflix got that real money though. No, I was just playing. So
No.
with that said, guys, right over here, give them a shout. You know them, you love them. Solar Grey, say peace.
Hey, thank you guys for showing up again. I'm Solar Grey, the Cinematic Sorcerer. You can find me, Solar Grey, here on YouTube and twitch.tv/BID_P. Both of my channels are on hiatus until the middle end of the month because of some personal stuff. I talked about it on my Twitch channel a little while ago, but we're coming back and we're going to be on all the platforms, you know, talking about RPGs, crafting, writing, science, you name it. When it comes to being a geek and a nerd, that's what we are all about. So, you know, and if anybody says that you shouldn't be doing it because, you know, that's white people stuff, or, you know, you're a girl, you should be doing that, you just tell them to put all that stuff back in the deck and check out the show. All right.
Yeah, because it's been a long time since girls weren't really or perceived to not be into comics or whatever. That's another thing. We need to stop holding these old views because it's just like when you're like, hey, geeks don't live in the basement and have this. It's the same thing about, you know, women not being in the comics. Yes, don't get me wrong. I was born in '82. So I remember seeing comic conventions or gatherings or whatever, and there were no women. So yes, you do have a point in that, but that does not mean that someone did not order the book and they just read it on their own, or that a friend shared it to them. Who knows? So also things change, times change. Maybe they were like, hey, look, I can let my geek flag fly now. You know what I'm saying? So now I ain't gotta hide and read it. I played sports with a lot of people that would watch Star Trek with me, and the next day at school pretend like they don't know nothing about Star Trek. So trust me, maybe those girls were doing the same thing those dudes was doing.
Yep.
Like I remember this kid. I would not say his name, but I remember he was like, I don't watch that stuff. I'm like, we just watched this yesterday.
Mark.
I was at your house yesterday. We got off the bus. We hung out until Star Trek came on. We watched Star Trek, then we talked about it for about another hour, and then I walked home. I remember because I was there yesterday. But with that said, guys, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you see. Hit that thumbs down if you don't. But if you hit that thumbs down, you're going to get the same powers as Dan in Street Fighter. All right? You ain't going to like that. Because your fireball ain't going nowhere. Your Tatsu ain't going to do nothing. Your roll is going to suck. Your taunts are going to suck.
Your not going to match your skin tone.
your DP on Wake Up is going to be like negative frames. All that is going to suck. Everything's going to suck. So, of course.
Not to mention Akuma's going to come around and kill your daddy. So,
so of course, podcast for listening, Spotify for music. We're going to leave y'all with PL Parker Lewis and Arcatron. From us to you, we're saying thank you for watching and peace. Peace out to all y'all in the chat. Thank you for rolling through. We done. We out. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the Parker Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grind together, we all came from hunger.